In a previous video we covered combination gauges, and we've got a bit of a project coming up which involves creating halving joints. With that in mind, tenon saws, hammer, a chisel, they are, to be honest, a lot easier to be found at home, in garages, etc., toolboxes, rather than a combination gauge or a marking gauge. So with that in mind, I thought a nice little project would be to make a little centre line finder. So what we've got is bit of timber, just a bit of softwood, and this is about 20 by 22 millimeters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to 150 millimeters. And what we're going to make, as per the drawing, is we've got two dowels drilled in with a hole in the centre which the pencil can drop through. So critical thing for this is pencil must be equal both sides. If it's not, it won't work. So first things first, what I'm going to do is, I've got a square edge, I'm just going to check. Yep, I'm going to cut this down to 150 millimeters. So just using steel rule, use a tape measure if you've got one, tri-square or a combination square. What I tend to do is when I'm squaring, I put my pencil on the line and I slide my tri-square up to it. Put my pencil where I want it to be and I put the square down. So what I do is just gently pull back, just so I know. So now I've got a piece of timber 150 millimeters long, and what I'm going to use is I've got a little scrap piece here. This is only 8-9 millimeters, and to be honest, it doesn't make any difference the length as long as it's longer. Is the only thing, and it's got to be the same width. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a line down. Doesn't matter, anywhere roughly centre-ish. I'll use tape measure so then you can see be a bit clearer. What I want to do is I'll bring that out and then lie flat. I'm going to put it on the 300 mark there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 50 millimeters, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute rather than just marking on here and drilling. So I've got mark there, pencil on, so what I'm going to do now is I need to be central down here. So I'm just going to mark a top line there, just so I've got a reference. I'm going to hold on to the 200 millimeter mark there, and I've got 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm 12 millimeters. There. And there. I'm just going to use a little bit of scrap, and I'm going to use a brad point bit. Now, brad point bit, or you may have heard of them as a lip and spur, is you've got the spur, which is the point, and the lips around the side. Very accurate for pinpointing on a hole. If you've only got high speed steel drill bit, they will skew off a little bit as you try and get on. You either need to use a brad awl, or at a push you can just use a nail just to push in, just to create a centre pop for where you need to be. So we use cordless drill, and what I'm going to do is my outer hole needs to be the same diameter as my dowel. Now these are 8mm dowels. You can get 6mm. It makes no difference. And what I'm going to do is just pop through. So I've got my hole there. Now my pencil doesn't want to be, my hole doesn't want to be as big. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check that that's a suitable size hole. So I've got a little bit of scrap there, we've got left over. And we're just going to slide pencil through, and it's a really nice snug fit, so that'll be the right size. So I'm going to drop this on, and I'm going to drill all the way through again. So now I've got a really nice little template. So what I can do now is find centre off here, which is 75. I'm going to square that line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this on. And because it's the same, and it's flush, I can now drill through as a template. So I'm going to pop it in. And once I've got it going, I'm just going to drop down again. Don't want to be going into the bench. And also, stops. There's much breakout out the back. So now I've got this, I can take this drill bit out and actually use that now as a pivot. Probably better referencing it that way. So now I've got my dowel drill bit, and I want to be 10mm down. So easiest way to do that is rest my drill bit, and we're just going to measure across there. I'm going to take a little bit of masking tape, electrical tape. It doesn't make any difference. I wouldn't recommend sellotape. And we're just going to rest that across. So we've got 10mm. Gently bring it round and fold it over. That can now come into my, make sure we're flush. that sits in just nicely. Now, the reason I've made this jig is if that's sat there, I can now spin this round. One thing I would be cautious of doing straight away that way is if I'm not quite centre across. So what I'd say is you take it, flip it, drop the drill bit in, reference off the top again, and then we can pop our 2 dowels in. Now I'm just going to pop those roughly in. And we've got a hole all the way through. So what I'd recommend is, you see there's a little bit of play in the dowels, but that just means we can square them up once they're in. And then that's as simple as it is. Now if you look, I gauged line earlier on that side. What I'll do is I'll pop, bear in mind that's not glued, which we're going to glue in a minute. Same process as we've shown in the previous video, just to find centre. There we go, and I'm just going to gauge down. So if I drop this on, and run it down, and I'm touching that tight to that side, and this one tight to that side. And if you look, I have only got one line and one gauge line, and that is perfectly accurate. So what we'll do is, we need a little bit of glue. Just gonna and then we're just gonna tap them home with a hammer. What we'll do is just by eye pop them to the vertical, show a nice and tight in. And iron those down. So I'm ironing that one, this one, they're parallel to each other. And that is a very, very simple gauge. So if I turn that over, again, popping my pins either side. So I turn it around the other side. We've got a perfect line both sides. If you're going to make one, please make sure you take your time. The one thing that I haven't done on this, which I'll show you, is we're just going to take the iris off just to give it a cleaner finish. So it doesn't make any difference. I'm going to come in 2mm. Please practice this skill. It is fantastic. If you just, especially out on site, you just need a quick parallel line to the edge, especially if it's just a rough cut, just to get you see, all the way around, and see how we're just nice and accurate back. It is very accurate, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in again, couple of mil. And what we're going to do is we're just going to clean the edge off. Now I'm just going to use a little smoothing plane here. It's very sharp, so I'm not going that way with the grain. It'll just burst the grain out. I don't want to be cleaning up too much more than I have to. We just got there, it's off there. There it's off there. Should put that bench hook out the way, it should tighten up. I'm just going to roughly put my plane by eye to where I want to be, and that looks to me pretty good. So same again this side. If you try this project and you've not quite got the timber size or anything, or you're not sure on the dowels, this will be going on our YouTube page, so just drop comments, questions, and very simple, very quick, very accurate centerline finder. We'll be using that unless you have one of these combination gauges. We'll be using this for the table build. Okay, see you later.